He's setting up the internet. Okay, this is better. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janaballava Girivaradhari Gopi Janaballava Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janaballava Girivaradhari Gopi Janaballava Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Oh, very good. It's getting better every week, yes? Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vrivakatara Sarasisi Mad, His Divine Grace, Sri Lacey Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vrivakatara Sarasisi Mad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Srimad Gita Upanishad Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. Gorpanim Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshuruptam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sandhu Jina Bandhu Jagadvate Govesha Govika Kanta Radha Kantano Sute Tapcha Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Dharubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse is 2:6, correct? Okay, so please repeat. Na caitad vidmaḥ kataran no garīyo hatvā jayema yadi no jayeyuḥ yan eva hatvā jijīviṣāmas. Sorry, we'll start again. 1 minute. Jijīviṣāmas te vasthitāḥ pramukhe Dhṛtarāṣṭrāḥ na caitad vidmaḥ kataran no garīyo yadvā jayema yadi no jayeyuḥ yan eva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas te vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhṛtarāṣṭrāḥ na caitad vidmaḥ kataran no garīyo Yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyuḥ. Yan eva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas. Na vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhṛtarāṣṭrāḥ. Okay, have a go. vidmaḥ kataran na garīyo. Hatvā jayema yadiva no jayeyuḥ. Yan eva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas. Te vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhṛtarāṣṭrāḥ. Na caitad vidmaḥ kataran no garīyo. Ma yadi no jayeyuḥ. Yad eva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas. Vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhṛtarāṣṭra. Okay, word for word. Na, nor, cha, also, etat, this, vidmaḥ, do we know, katarat, which, naha, for us, garīyaḥ, better, yatvā, whether, jayema, we may conquer, yadi, if, va, or, naha, us, jayeyuḥ, they conquer, yan, those who, eva, certainly, hatvā, by killing, na, never, jijīviṣāmaḥ, we would want to live, te, all of them, vasthitāḥ, are situated, pramukhe, in the front, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. Nor, excuse me. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So, please repeat. Nor do we know, which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriyas, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, Still, if the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in the royal household, is another sign of detachment. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities, combined with his faith in the words of instruction of Sri Krishna, his spiritual master, indicate. It is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all these attributes, over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. Mukam koro chivachalam pangam laite girim yad kripatamaham bande Shri Gurun dinatarinam. So, na caitad vidmaḥ kataran na garīyo yadva jayema yadi na jayeyuḥ yan eva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas te vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhṛtarāṣṭrāḥ. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Yeah, so this is, if you like, Arjuna's second go at trying to say we should not fight. At the end of the first chapter, he also gave so many reasons. It's bad karma, a real bad reaction. If we, he's repeating some of the same points. If we win, we won't enjoy the kingdom, having killed the others. The women will be unprotected, so on and so forth. I'm sure you're familiar. And then at the end there, he said, Arjuna, having thus spoken, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So it's very dramatic. And then we'll read the other verses leading up to today's verse. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. So this is Krishna now, coming to enlighten Arjuna. As we discussed last week, Arjuna had forgot spiritual principles and his dharma and his duty, and he was, yes, overwhelmed with compassion, but it's material compassion. So material compassion is good, as Prabhupada says, this is good quality, but it is nothing in comparison, and it should not cancel spiritual principles. And as the Gita progresses, we'll see that Krishna tells Arjuna, your material compassion, your calculation of karma and so on and so forth, it sounds very learned, but it's not got any value. And the point will be across is, because we're not material, we're not material beings. We may be in the material energy and subject to the material laws and so on, but the human life is meant for learning and acting in accordance with spiritual principles on the basis of that we are spirit soul, and the spirit soul is an angsa of Krishna. It is naturally dasa das anudas. It is meant to be the servant of the Supreme Lord in transcendence, And that is the purpose of human life, to realize that and to attain eternal life thereby. It is not the spirit soul, he or she or whatever, the spirit soul is not meant to just become a good material person, because that will not liberate. It will continue in the material sphere. So this is the point of Bhagavad Gita, to introduce spiritual knowledge and spiritual principles into the material world. Arjuna is a great devotee, he's got compassion and everything, and under Yoga Maya he is acting as a confused soul. And that is bringing out the Bhagavad Gita. So he does say that, right? How of these, Krishna starts with this. He says all this material compassion, how have these impurities come upon you? It's like, how has it happened? You're a learned disciple of Dronacharya, you're my cousin, you're from an elevated family. An elevated family, they should be educated in spiritual principles, not just material dalliance and compassion. Now you're a Kshatriya, you should fight for good religious principles. Your elder brother Yudhisthira Maharaj is a pious man, and you've learned through your life that Duryodhana is a number one rascal. He's been trying to kill you and give trouble to you ever since childhood. And Dhṛtarāṣṭra has been pushing him towards that. And this is my plan. It will come out later, to rid the world. Krishna has three reasons. Paritranaya sadhunam. This is the first reason he states for coming, to protect the devotees. Vinashaya duskritim, to punish the miscreant, those that misbehave and act impiously. And dharma samstapanathaya, and that is to establish these religious principles of what is devotion and what is impiety, etc., in the material sphere. And he has to do that yada, all the time, because the natural function of the material energy clouds the consciousness of the materially conditioned, and in the course of time, real religion, which is bhakti to Bhagavan, becomes covered by karma and jnana, mental speculation, and fruitive desire, in desire for material benefits. Religion is polluted in this way by mental speculation and using religion as a material tool for material embellishment. So real religion is pure. Anyabhilashita sunyam, jnanakamādinavritam. So that gets forgotten. So even I was reading in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that immediately after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, karma and jnana, material desire and mental speculation entered into the field of devotees, but the sincere devotees of Mahaprabhu, they kept themselves separate to cultivate pure bhakti. So that's also instructional, that it's in the 13th chapter, that you should be detached from the general mass of people if you want to cultivate pure bhakti, because their association will deflect you, particularly if you're in the period of practice, if you're not very realized in spiritual knowledge, you can be easily deflected by the company of materialistic people. So, how these impurities come upon you? You shouldn't be impure like this, material calculations. They are not befitting a man who knows the value of life. So the value of life is that you can attain eternal life in the spiritual abode, in your spiritual form, Swarup Siddhi, and you can live eternally in the spiritual world. That is the value of human life, And that is the purpose of human life. If you're a dog, cat, animal, bug, bird, you cannot understand these principles. So the human life is the most valuable, because in the human life you can understand this. You can understand spirit. You can understand Bhagavad Gita. They do not lead to higher planets, but to infamy. Yes, so he was saying, Krishna is saying, you don't go to higher planets. Ultimately, the highest planet is Goloka Vrindavan, the transcendental world. But you don't even go to Swargaloka, or Janaloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, if you are in this way, if you renounce your duty. You go to those higher planets if you perform your duty, in the material sphere even. But if you give up your spiritual principles of acting according to Dharma as a Kshatriya, you won't even go to Swagaloka. You'll be infamous. So, Krishna is countering this material analysis. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. Sitting in the chariot, dropping his bow and arrows, his weapons, and he's saying, I shall not fight Krishna. It does not become you. You're from a great family, you have a great guru, you have a great history and tradition behind you. This is not. So he's appealing to Arjuna's, Arjuna is in a materially compassionate say, but Krishna is saying, even if you're calculating, it does not become you as a Kshatriya from a great family. It is a mess. It's not going to take you up to spiritual world. It's not going to take you up to higher lokas. It's not going to make a good name for you. So he's appealing to Arjuna on the material platform, if you like. Your good name, your family name will be tarnished. So this is a good argument by Krishna, because Arjuna has fallen into this material calculation, that I should just avoid bad activity and be a good person. But Krishna is saying, no, this is not good. This is not good behavior. So, even materially. And he's calling impotence, right? So the Kshatriya, you'll find later in the Gita, Kshatriya has Ishwarabhav. Ishwarabhav means the mood of control. It's meant to be controlled by good association and instruction by the Brahmins, the true Brahmins. Brahmana janati Brahman. Spiritually situated, Brahmanishta, Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. Real Brahmins are situated in transcendence by realization and activity. But this is impotence. So the Kshatriya is supposed to be a passionate person. He wants to control, but he does it in a pious way under the direction of the learned, intellectual, spiritually based people in his court. But he is just giving up that. And so, for a Kshatriya, somebody in passionate nature, to be called impotent, that is also a dig in the ribs, is it not? It's just like if you call a Brahmin you're stupid or you don't know the Shastra, that may be a worst insult. Or if you say to a Vaishya, you don't know how to do business or look after the land or take care of the, you're a penny-pinching nitwit, that may upset the Vaishya. But the Kshatriya, covered with gold and jewels, the cynosure of the land, the great leader, you're impotent. This is a real wake-up. So Krishna is very smart, of course. He's been taught by Garga Muni and Sandipani Muni. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart. Huh? Same point. You're weak. I'm embarrassed. You're my cousin. And arise. Arise. Wake up. Oh, chastiser of the enemy. So Krishna is, first giving a left jab and then the right hook. Wake up! So it's you can see how Krishna's, really doing a good job, if I may say. He's the Supreme Lord. Arjuna said, "O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu." So this is interesting. He was saying, I will not fight. I don't want to kill even these bad people. But you killed Madhu, right? One of Krishna's name is Madhusudan, right? You killed Madhu. That was, I think that was in, across the road there near Chattigarh. What's that? Badriman, was it? How can I counteract with arrows? You see, you killed, but how can I counteract arrows in battle? Men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship. Drona is the patriarch, the leading man of the Kuru dynasty. Dronacharya is his guru. Right? So in the purport, Prabhupada gets to the point. Respectable superiors like Bhishma, the grandfather, and Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counteracted. It is general etiquette. This is something to note, that superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight. Even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, they should not be harshly treated, right? So your superiors, in terms of social etiquette, if they might somehow become harsh or a little loose or something, you should just think, oh, never mind, let them settle down. If your father chastises you, you should just, yes, Dad, I'm wrong. And often that makes the other person cool down. But if you throw more fat in the fire by arguing back, then you are making an offense. And the superior will think, who's this little cheeky rascal? Trying to instruct me. So it's always better with your superiors if they seem in a bad mood or doing something harshly, that you just say, yes, that's right, you're right, yes. And then they cool down and they appreciate your humility and good behavior. So then, this verse, this is a very interesting purport in this. The number 5, it would be better. Oh, this is Arjuna counteracting Krishna's spur to fight. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Very dramatic, is it not? So it sounds very, yes, there is Guru and his elders, so he shouldn't fight. But it's material calculation. And the counterpoint is, you're a Kshatriya and you have your duty. You have your dharma. And your dharma, your varnashram dharma, your material calculation does not refute. You have to do your duty. Plus, you already know, as we said before, Duryodhana and his family, they're rascals, his brothers. They have to be quelled. They are already trying to kill. If they are in the power then what will happen to the kingdom? Huh? So, if they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. So he's saying this is a good point. Yes, they're superiors, we should not fight with them. But, very interesting, according to scriptural codes, a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. So yes, if a superior acts harshly and badly, temporarily, maybe he's disturbed, didn't sleep well, he had some indigestion, then we should tolerate. But here, Prabhupada makes the point, if he engages in an abominable action, right? If he's a sannyasi and he doesn't act as a sannyasi, and he does terrible things against sannyas ashram, and has lost his sense of discrimination, that means he's not judging how to behave properly and not pursuing it. He lost his discrimination, his intelligence is gone, is fit to be abandoned. Because it says that in the Shastra, that if the guru misbehaves and becomes fallen, and the disciples with a false sense of disciplic session, if they follow the guru, they follow him to punishment and hellish reaction also. So if a superior behaves badly in an abominable way, an exaggerated way, then he must be abandoned. He should be abandoned. And then Prabhupada gives this very next nice point. Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because of his financial assistance. They were living off. Duryodhana was the leader of the palace. Dhṛtarāṣṭra was not really functional. Sanjay was his secretary, but Duryodhana was the leader of the household. And he was supporting Bhishma and Drona. And they're the people that Arjuna is talking about. The eldest in the family, and my own guru Dronacharya, Shastra Guru, they have followed Duryodhana because of, they feel obliged because of financial assistance. Now that sounds reasonable, right? Duryodhana has been paying their expenses, they've been living very nicely in the palace. So yes, they have an obligation. But look what Prabhupada says here. Although they should not have accepted such a position of fighting for Duryodhana, simply on financial considerations, under the circumstances they have lost the respectability of teachers. They're not teachers now, because they also are being controlled by material circumstances, finance. They've lost their moral sense. Do you see the point? They're taking money, so they're following the money instead of following Dharma. And this is the point. But Arjuna thinks that nevertheless they remain as his superiors, and therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them would mean to enjoy spoils tainted with blood. Now this is a very important point. So we know in the Ramayana, before the battle of with Ravana, who came over to Ram? Vibhishan, yes. He was the brother of Ram. And he was being of Ravana. And he was being supported by Ravana. And he was in every way, you could say, obliged to Ravana by family ties and financial ties and so on. But he left Ravana and he went to Ram before the battle and he said, Ram, I cannot bear to see the behavior of this Ravana. I don't even consider him my brother. The way he has snatched your wife in this cruel way and the way he is bearing upon her, I cannot be party to this. So Bibhishana is illustrating the principle here that Prabhupada talks about. He is saying, to hell with family ties and financial assistance. This is bad behavior. And this is exactly what Bhishma and Drona should have done. But why didn't they? That's also in the Mahabharata, and the Bhagavatam refers to it. Because in the vicious assembly, when Draupadi was being molested and treated badly and dragged her, and they attempted to strip her naked, they remained silent then. And so they lost all status and intelligence and discrimination. So many commentators have said that misbehavior or lack of duty by these big leaders to Draupadi when she was being virtually raped or mistreated in a vulgar way in front of the whole assembly, then they lost their intelligence because of that great offense. Draupadi was a great devotee of Krishna. She was a great soul. And to do that to her was terrible. And then to be silent condemned the whole assembly. So that great offense to Draupadi is considered by many commentators to be axiomatic, a central point of the Mahabharata. And it was that destroyed Duryodhana. So that is something very noteworthy, is it not? We may be a great position, great man, and we think that we can, because I am in an impeccable position, I can do anything I want. But you know, Chanika Pandit, in his Niti Shastra is advice for politics. It's not actually, in many places, about pure devotion, but it's how the king should act. And he explains there that the king should be very, very, very careful how he treats his ministers and his praja, the population. Because if he mistreats them, though they may not show it, he will make enemies. Revenge will come upon him, and certainly a reaction will come upon him. Even if the praja, the people, don't, never mind. But Krishna is very attentive. And that's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. That Lord Chaitanya is very careful about etiquette. It must be followed. Social etiquette, it may not be the highest principle, but it has to be followed. If it is not followed, then the reaction must come. You may be the big man on the mountaintop, but if you mistreat the people down in the valley, you will be thrown down by the laws of karma, by the laws of spiritual offense. So the attempted disrobing of Draupadi destroyed the intelligence of Bhishma and Drona. They were already polluted by taking sustenance from this Duryodhana, who is an expansion of Kali. He is, they are polluted by his association. But then when Draupadi was mistreated, that was also another nail in the coffin. So that is very learned. But still, they should have rose to the occasion and said, I cannot follow this anymore. Bibhishan did. They should have said, as Prabhupada says here, they've lost their status as good persons. They should have said, Vibhishan is, never mind, I cannot follow this Duryodhana, I cannot fight on his side after what he did to Draupadi and what he's been doing to the Pandavas and his bad nature, what he's been doing for years after years. But somehow or other they didn't. So we can view this in another way. We can meditate on this point, that why didn't they do what Vibhishan say? Vibhishan came to Ram and said, I can't follow. Please give me shelter. You can chastise me. Ram said, my promise, Vibhishan, is that whoever comes to me for shelter, I will protect them, and from that moment they will remain mine and under my protection. They just have to say, Krishna, tumhara haan, I believe you, I belong to you. And Krishna then wipes the slate clean, because that is the purpose of the material energy, is to two functions. You can fulfill your mental speculation and your sensuality in the material world, but it's confusing, it's not satisfying. You will ultimately reject the material world. So, why didn't they come to that Leela? We can surmise that this is Yoga Maya, just like Arjuna is acting in this way so that the Bhagavad Gita comes out. Bhishma and Drona, we should not condemn them and think, oh, they are not the top class. They are top class, there's no doubt. Bhishma is one of the 8 Vasus, one of the great personalities of the universe. But through Yoga Maya, Krishna has engaged them in this Leela of bringing out the Mahabharata and in particular the Bhagavad Gita. So we can contemplate that point, but we should see the point. And you see the brilliant point of Prabhupada when he brings that out. So, then we come to today's verse. Nor do we know which is better, Arjuna says, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. They are now standing before us on the battlefield. And then, number 7, now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. So Krishna's words have reached Arjuna. He said, you're impotent. Huh? You're not acting like a Kshatriya. You're weak on the battlefield. You're not doing your duty. Huh? You're not standing up. So Arjuna is starting to come around. Do you see? Arjuna is starting to think, well, Krishna, my cousin, yes, you're right. I've lost my composure because of miserly weakness. So that weakness is because of his compassion. But it is weakness nonetheless, because he is choosing a material calculation instead of spiritual principles and duty. In this condition of confusion, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. I'm confused. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. And then Arjuna carries on. But that's the point. That he said, yes, it is miserly weakness. So now maybe I am going to have to reconsider things. But I'm still confused. I'm still can't figure it out. What should I do? So now Arjuna. So this is the nature of the material world. That we try to enjoy, but we suffer. So we try to be bhokta, enjoyer, but we suffer. Huh? I got married to the girl of my dreams, but now I'm suffering. Oh, we had children, and now I'm still suffering. Huh? Now the children have left me in old age. I'm dying on the sofa. I'm suffering. I try to enjoy, but I'm suffering. Dukkalayam asashvitam. Everything I have tried to gain happiness has not worked. I've tried to satisfy the wife, the kids, the family, the tax man, but it's all been fruitless. Now I'm dying. So this is the nature of the material energy. Like I say, material energy has two functions. You can fulfill your dream of enjoying, becoming a controller and enjoyer, but then because it is material and unsatisfactory and temporary, it will drive you back. Instead of staying by the campfire, you may wander off in the night, in the darkness of the forest, and then you hear a tiger or an elephant or a crocodile. It drives you back to the fire. So the material energy by nature frustrates the living entity and confuses him. And in that state, he starts to consider his best options. So, what does Queen Kunti say in the Bhagavatam? Yes. This is 1st canto, 8th chapter, 26 of the Bhagavatam. And Queen Kunti sums it all up. And she's in the forest now. She's been thrown out of the kingdom. This is before the battle. And she says, Janmaishvarya Shruta Shribir. My Lord, she's addressing Krishna in the forest. Your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, confused, fed up, dissatisfied with their material calculation. And the word is, akincha. Akinchana. One who is, on the path of material, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So if you're still enthusiastic about achieving good birth, beauty, material opulence, good education, these are the status in the material world. If you're still trying to chase those in a very sincere way, you can't go to Krishna. This is what Kunti Devi is saying. And she's in that situation now. The Pandavas are in that situation. They're illustrating this, that they've lost the kingdom, they're in the forest, living there very simply. They've been exiled. Then the next verse also brings this point. Namo kinchana vitaya. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of material modes. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are most gentle and are the master of the monists. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller. Yes, time is the controller in the material world. Without time we can't do anything. Without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one, in distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse, karmic reactions. So akinchana, gochara. So it's said that to take up spiritual life you have to be akinchana. That means without material desire. You've exhausted. Oh, I've had enough of that. And then the next is niskinchana. You don't have a sense of possession. Just like Bhakti Vinod wrote this song, Manasa Deha Geha. My Geha, my material paraphernalia, I surrender to you, Krishna. My body, I surrender to you. My mind, I surrender to you. And now I'm feeling relief because I've surrendered. Now what you do with me is up to you. Aslishyava padaratam kanashtama. So whether you make me your compatriot, or you make me a bug. I don't really care. But if you make me an insect, please let me be the insect in the house of a devotee, of a Vaishnava. So that is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I mean, so instructional, isn't it? So this is the mood now of Arjuna. I don't want the kingdom. He's already said that. But I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I'm exhausted. I'm confused. You tell me, Krishna. So that mood is the greatest fortune of a living entity. When he turns to the qualified spiritual master, the Supreme Lord, and he says, I surrender to you. Like Bibhishan. Oh, Ram, I've been living with this fool and rascal Ravana. I now come to you. Please give me shelter. You can punish me for all these years of living with Ravana and being his brother. But you decide. And what does Krishna say? Ma suchaha. Don't worry. Don't be in anxiety at the Gita. Just surrender to me, and I will take care of you. And so that surrendering process is expanded and taught by Lord Chaitanya. We should hear the Shastra, the Acharya's words, purports, that give us insight to the pastimes of Krishna. And also we should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And this will bring us to Smaranam automatically. But we can cultivate it. Smaranam on the wonderful nature of Krishna. And we will see the material world for what it is. So sometimes we'll say, there's no God because there's suffering. No, we make our own suffering. Krishna doesn't give you conscience, gives you intelligence, but you make your own suffering. And he doesn't interfere with your free will, but he is the material world by nature is constructed that eventually you think, I don't want this place of birth, death, old age and disease. Isn't there an alternative? Then within the heart, Krishna. What is that? Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Latabi. Then Krishna will guide you. So we can learn the hard way like Arjuna, or we can learn the easy way by hearing from the Acharyas. But it's our free will that is the catalyst. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, we'll finish at this point. The Madanga player is very happy because I'm finishing. Any quick question? Yes, okay.
Thank you so much for such a nice class. It has got me more doubts than. So I first three things which I was seeking the solution for. So first is, as you mentioned, that Vibhishan crossed the line wherein Bhishma and Drona were not able to do it because of financial gain. Now in our life.
Well, I said also we should also add Leela. We shouldn't condemn them. Yes, this is a special thing. But they're illustrating the danger of bad association. Go ahead.
So in our life, a lot of times this happens that we end up committing something, but the intensity is not very high. And when someone commits the same thing with a big intensity, similar thing, then that is the time when we are in dilemma that, it's that person, you also did the same thing some days back. The intensity might be different, and probably that time we lose that sense that, now we should condemn, because I might also have done the same thing with a less intensity.
What do you mean by intensity?
Intensity as in, like let's say, someone has done an offense, a big offense
Oh, you mean semi-accidentally or something?
Yeah. Or we might have been casual about it, and so at that time, should we still be vocal that, see, you did an incorrect thing?
Well, yes. If you commit an offense accidentally, there's a story about this. Sanatana Goswami, he was writing the Leela of Radha and Krishna, and a devotee came by, and that devotee was crippled, and he was having to walk in an awkward way. And Sanatana Goswami, he was smiling and laughing at the Leela that he was recording in his writings. But that devotee walking by thought that Sanatana Goswami is laughing at me because I'm a cripple. And his heart was hurt. So immediately Sanatana Goswami, he lost his contact with the Leela. You understand? Even though it was accidental. And he corrected himself and apologized and sorted the problem out to make everything right. So even if something is semi-accidental or not really purposeless, we should be very careful with the Vaishnavas. Because the Vaishnavas are the heart of Krishna. You may stand on somebody's toe. Never mind, accident. But if you try to attack their heart, they will be very careful about that. So, yes, we do commit offenses, and if they are accidental and not intentional, we should not be concerned. But that is why, I remember when we first, in the time of Prabhupada, we had a system in the temple that the first 5 devotees we met, we would pay obeisances to. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu. First 5 devotees after taking bath. The whole temple was doing it in the time of Prabhupada. So that's the way we clear offenses, by humility and understanding in that way. But if somebody intentionally is offensive, then Lord Chaitanya notes that, and the fruit will come in the future. There's no doubt about that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So the point is, from an individual point of view, we should be very careful. You understand? And therefore the Vaishnava is gentle and modest, particularly with other devotees and other seniors, in that way. Culture. That's there in India. It's still there in India. You know, people are not brash and harmful. They might be a bit on ecology, throwing things away. But that is Vaishnava culture, to be very careful and respectful with the Vaishnavas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, I read something a week or two ago, and in one of his essays, and he said, if we are busy finding fault with ourselves and correcting ourselves, we will not find time to find fault with other people. Right? So let us, also Bhakti Vinod Thakur in Bhakti Alok, he says, if you see somebody, another disciple or another devotee doing something wrong, it's not your position to correct him, unless you are that devotee's spiritual master, or you have some responsible position. And then there's another thing, that if you point to somebody, your madanga playing is very good, then 3 fingers are pointing to me. So we should also stress the good in others, and we should not try to in that way. But we should not be neurotic about it. Oh, I'm committing offenses. We should just carry on. And if we chant Hare Krishna, then small offenses, they don't account to much.
And
I hope that helps you. Okay.
And this particular thing about like I'm facing in this phase of my life, Krishna, when Arjuna gives his points, he is absolutely point blank on, like he starts with, he's not acknowledging these things, but he starts with more of chastisement. Now, like I am currently like parenting a young child, and normally one school of thought is first try to understand where he's coming from. It might not be the most logical thing, but first give him the comfort that yes, I acknowledge, I understand where you're coming from, and then go about. So this particular approach versus what is happening in Bhagavad Gita in the first and the second chapter.
Yes, you should always, that's a good practice, to see things from the other person's perspective. And like with a child, child is often, they're children. So we should always be tactful and handle them carefully. Prabhupada said once in a lecture, he said that, I think he was quoting Indian culture, but he said that a child from 1 to 5 should be treated like a king, because they can't understand what they've done wrong. So they should be handled very nicely and carefully. 5 to 10, then they should be started to correction. That's when they go to school, right? There should little training coming along, what's good and bad. 10 to 15, then should be strictly instructed, because the brain is working, intelligence, personality is there. But then after 15, you should just be the friend of your children, even though the superior. Because after 15, 15-year-olds don't like to be told what to do. They're finding their manhood or womanhood. So that's advice in that. But yes, we should understand things from the other point of view. And it is rarely fruitful to become angry. You understand? With a child. Prabhupada gave the example, you can show the stick, but don't use it. You understand? So it means that, yes, that's not good behavior. But if we lose, anger, tamagun, I'm not saying this is a case with yourself or your child, but tamagun is very dangerous, because when we're angry, we can do anything. You understand? We can say anything. We can destroy a friendship so long years of friendship can be destroyed by anger. So we should, and it's in the Bhagavatam that anger comes after frustration. So if we know that, and we're getting frustrated, when we should just, play cool. I know we all lose it sometimes, but we should have a little knowledge, constraint. And it's always best to be the sadhu, forgiving and tolerant. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, amanina maninena. Don't want respect, but give respect to everyone. Because we have to understand that we are part of the equation. When there's in an equation, there's two factors. So if somebody's angry and we become angry, that becomes plus, equals double anger. But if someone's angry and we are peaceful, that may cancel the anger out. So our own situation, we should observe carefully. And we should trinadapi, saniche, na, tarorapi, we should practice these things. And giving respect. That's in the Uddhava Gita. We've given many classes on that. That you should see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. That's the best way. And then it's explained there in 29th chapter, 11th canto, that if you see people as part and parcel of Krishna, you lose envy, matsarya. You lose the bad qualities. They go. So we've got to finish. Prabhu wants to, I don't know. Anyone last quick question, Mahaprabhu? Badmina, one last question, 1 minute. Yes, Prabhu.
It's not a quick question.
Yes, I can answer quickly. Go on.
Oh, okay. You say that Bhishma and Drona, they accepted money from Dhṛtarāṣṭra.
Don't touch my things.
So they were financially better because of it. Now, we in the modern age live in countries where the government does not always do nice things.
But we may take a pension from them.
Yes.
Well, then use it in Krishna's service. It'll be purified. And therefore, Shankaracharya said you should do 3 things every day. Chant one name of the Supreme Lord, read 1 line of Shastra, and perform charity every day. So you can purify anything if you perform those 3 things. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. See you next week.